Hey everyone, CyberWriter here. When people first think about getting into cybersecurity, the role they hear about the most is SOC Analyst. But here's the thing, SOC isn't the only entry-level path out there. There's another one called Vulnerability Management, and it doesn't get talked about as much. So in this video, I'm going to break down both roles, what they are, what the day-to-day looks like, the pros and cons, and where they can take you. That way, by the end of this video, you'll have a clear picture of which one might be the better fit for you. So let's start with the SOC Analyst role. SOC stands for Security Operations Center. As a SOC Analyst, you're on the front lines of cybersecurity. Your job is to monitor alerts, investigate suspicious activity, and respond when things go wrong. Think about it as like a digital firefighter. Here's a scenario. Imagine you're sitting in the SOC, looking at your SIEM dashboard, and suddenly you see 100 failed login attempts coming from the same IP address. That might mean someone's trying to brute force attack. Your job is to dig in, confirm what's happening, and escalate if needed. When I first started looking into cybersecurity, I thought SOC Analyst was the only entry-level role because it's the most common job you'll see. And a lot of people jump into it because it gives you exposure to a little bit of everything, such as like network logs, endpoint alerts, malware detection, you name it. Now let's talk about vulnerability management, or VM for short. Instead of reacting to alerts, VM is all about being proactive. You're scanning systems, identifying weaknesses, and working with IT teams to get those issues fixed before attackers can take advantage. Here's a scenario. Imagine you run a scan and find that 200 servers are still running an old version of Windows with critical vulnerabilities. That's like leaving every window in your house unlocked. Your job is to make sure those systems get patched or remediated before someone breaks in. For me personally, once I learned about VM, it just clicked. I realized I like the idea of building structure, reducing risk, and helping teams stay ahead of the game, instead of putting out fires after they started. That's why I went with this route. Okay, so how do you decide between the two? So let's talk about pros and cons. First, let's start with SOC Analyst. For the pros, we have a ton of job openings, great exposure to different parts of cybersecurity, and build strong foundations in monitoring and incident response. As for the cons, it can feel very repetitive. Alert fatigue is very real. Shifts might include nights and weekends. You're reacting instead of preventing. And since it's a very common role, there's a ton of competition just to get hired. Okay, now let's check VM for pros and cons. As for the pros, it's a more predictable schedule, so 9 to 5 in most cases. Work directly with IT and cloud teams. Build skills in risk management and compliance. And as for the cons, there's fewer job postings in the SOC. It requires more patience. Not all vulnerabilities get fixed right away. And then the third one is you need strong communication skills to influence other teams. Another way to look at this is, where do these roles lead? For the SOC analyst, you can go multiple routes. You have threat hunter, incident responder, red team, or even SOC manager. As for vulnerability management, you can go different routes as well. We have risk analyst, pen tester or ethical hacking, governance, risk and compliance, or even leadership roles like security program manager. So ask yourself, do I want to focus more on detection and response, or do I want to focus on preventing and risk reduction? Neither answer is wrong. They just set you on a slightly different paths. Do I need to know how to code for either role? No, you don't, but it definitely helps. For the SOC analyst roles, you'll focus more on tools like Splunk or Defender, and for the vulnerability management, you'll focus on scanners like Tenable and Qualys. Another question I get asked is, which one is easier for beginners? SOC analyst roles are more common and useful, harder to land. VM roles are fewer, but it's an easier learning curve and a better long-term fit if you don't like shift work. And lastly, the third question is, can I switch between the two? And of course, absolutely. I know people who started in the SOC and later moved into VM and vice versa. The skills overlap. If you analyze risks, communicate clearly, and understand how systems work, you can definitely pivot. So here's the big takeaway. SOC analyst is like being on defense in real time, reacting to attacks as they happen. As for vulnerability management, it's like stranding the walls ahead of time, making sure attackers have a harder time breaking in. Both roles matter and both are in demand. And also, both can get you started in cybersecurity. At the end of the day, it comes down to your personality. Do you like the rush of responding in the moment, or do you like the structure of preventing problems before they happen? Either way, remember this: once you get your foot in the door, you'll have options to pivot and grow in whichever direction feels right. Thanks for hanging out today. I hope this breakdown gave you some clarity on SOC versus VM. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, or if you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comments down below. If you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe because I've got more videos coming on skills, tools, and strategies to break into cybersecurity. As always, keep learning, keep scanning, and I'll catch you in the next one.